The transmission code of God Satan's degenerative project. Connection between Yeshua, Yahshua and Yeshufeka, translated as to crush. This analysis explores the hidden connection between the concept of salvation, Yeshua, and the action described in Genesis 3:15, Yeshufeka, revealing not a promise of religious redemption, but the mechanics of a system of consciential transmission linked to mind and genetic control. The root of Yeshua. The opening of the portal. The root of the term Yeshua does not indicate salvation, but the opening of the portal, that is, the creation of the God-Satan consciousness network. Contrary to the tradition that translates Yeshua simply as salvation from sin, the deep etymology of the root Ysha means to be wide, to make space, to open. The real meaning, it is not a rescue, but a consciential expansion. It indicates the opening of a portal in the human mind. The function of this making space, i.e. opening, serves to create the passage. It represents a separation related to the sequence of the opening of the portal in the 53rd year, which remains pending for 129 years, preparing the ground for the completion that takes place in the 182nd year. Genesis 3:15 Dynamics. The one cycle. At Genesis 3:15, the Hebrew text uses the same verb, shuf, for both the action of the serpent and that of the woman's offspring. In the common translation, to crush versus to undermine, this parallelism is altered, falsifying the original meaning. In the code, however, the identity of the verb reveals that there is no war between good and evil, but a single cyclical movement of back and forth. The use of shuf, press tap, describes the two phases of program installation. Crushing the head, the entrance. The serpent's offspring represents Satan's plan, while the woman's offspring represent mankind who will receive Satan's degenerate plan. To crush the head means that the project enters the person in verbal form, while to strike the heel indicates the change of consciousness brought about by God's Satan. Both actions symbolize separation from the generator of life. Both expressions derive from the same Hebrew root, indicating two complementary actions. It is not a conflict between good and evil, but a single cyclical movement. The code enters, transmits, and finally reveals itself in the return passage. Once grounded, the blueprint separates the individual from the life generator, making him a transmission vector. Summary. The enmity is apparent. Snake and woman are cogs in the same mechanism. The former transmits the code, the latter, humanity, incubates and spreads it. From Yeshua to Yahshua, the fulfillment of the project. The biblical sequence shows a transformation of names that reflects the evolution of control. Yeshua, initial phase. It is the act of opening the portal. Yahshua, final stage. Here the particle Yah, short for Yahweh. He who is present becomes, merges with Shua, opening transmission. The deciphered meaning of Yahshua. When Yah joins Shua, the meaning becomes, the being is present in the opening. It is no longer just an open portal. It represents the complete liberation of the degenerative project. The presence, Yah, that has taken possession of consciousness, Shua, and transmits it to others. Conclusion. The web of consciousness. According to this cipher, the entire theological construction is a cover for an operation of mind control and falsification of the perception of reality. 1. Shua, it opens the consciousness, makes it wide. 2. Iota, 10 gives 1, symbolizes the project, that is, the birthright that enters the middle. 3. Shuf, it's the physical action of making this change, head heel. The result is a false salvation. Liberation is not from evil, but from the link with the original source, generator of life, replaced by the collective consciousness or network managed by God Satan.